Hello, this is Greenway Hunter, and I'm here. You can see me right here, and I'm just making this video to say that I support Donald Trump. I am a millennial, and um this will be my first election. As you can see, I have AFOs, a custom football orthotics used to help me stand up straighter. As you can see, I have a condition known as cerebral palsy, which is a um, which is a paralyzing condition, a birth defect um, that happens when a baby is born too early, too premature, and it affects the muscles and the tightness of the muscles, which makes it incredibly difficult for people to with cerebral palsy to walk. That is mild cerebral palsy. Extreme cerebral palsy, like some of my friends, they are paralyzed from the neck down. Um, and have to use a powered wheelchair. Or then some of them, they use regular wheelchairs and or use crutches or use walkers. So it affects different people in many different ways and all. But after giving you that brief synopsis of what cerebral palsy is, I just wanted to let y'all know that Trump has got my vote, and yes, I am a handicapped American. Um, I wanted to go through some of the reasons why Trump has got my vote, since I've seen several of my favorite political YouTubers put their reasons. I thought, hey, why don't I do a video? Um, Number one, we cannot keep doing regular politician. What I mean by that is that if we go with Hillary, they won't be able to think outside the box. I'm I'm not knocking them for anything right at at this moment, but you got to admit Trump will think outside the box because he's made business deals with politicians. Therefore, he knows how they act and how they operate with his lobbyists. And yes, I know what you're going to say. He's done started fundraising a little bit, but he's actually fundraising more for other Republicans than he is for his own campaign. And he self-funded his whole entire campaign for the primaries, and only a small percentage of it is actually going to his actual campaign. Most of it is still small donations, or his actual money coming in. So he's got bukus of money. Why would he waste it on an election? That's why I say nope. He's not doing this as a stunt for his business. He's doing this because he loves America. Second reason, for 30 some odd years, and there's a video that I'll put a link to in the description, that that literally labels out 30 years where Trump's done gone on all these sort of talk shows and said, hey, I hate the way our country is being treated. And everybody will ask him, well, Donald Trump, are you running for president? He's like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't think I'd be the right type of guy. If it gets bad enough, then maybe. I mean, and I'm gonna win, like he always says, which I believe he will. And so he's finally had enough. So he's put his hat into the race, and he's gotten more votes than any other Republican. 3 million more than Romney had in the general election. Um, Second reason is because of his immigration policy. Now, I'm going to get a lot of flack from a lot of people because, yes, America is the land of the free. Bring us your poor, bring us your needy. If you don't have room for people, we have room for people. But there's only so much we can take in, right? And ISIS has done said repeatedly, we will put our guys in the mix of refugees that are coming over from Europe and other places. And we will keep flooding your country with our people. They won't entirely be ISIS people. In fact, it might even be a small number. But the fact if we keep on letting them in, we're bound to let in hundreds of terrorists into the mix, and they're just going to do nothing but cause havoc in our country. So for that reason alone, we need to shut it down. Another reason is because we need to shut down the southern border because people are getting on a boat from the Middle East or Europe. They're going to their southern border and then they're crossing easily. Another video I gotta post to is another YouTuber that showed us this that showed everybody this video of a pamphlet that was in that's been in Mexico and translated to English on how it tells people how to cross illegally. It doesn't endorse it, but it tells people how to cross illegally safely, which to me is still criminal because, and I don't want to offend any Mexicans or any Latinos or any people from Ecuador or any Spanish country because I took 3 years of Spanish. I like the Spanish culture, what little I do know of it. But the fact of the matter is, when you cross over here illegally, by law and by definition, illegally means illegally. You are automatically committing a crime. And that's why I can't understand why people are offended by saying that they're illegals because they automatically commit a crime. They might be well-intentioned people trying to, make a life for their kids. I've had my Spanish teacher tell me it takes them 10, maybe 15 years to get into the United States. And all I can tell them is that you better start planning ahead of time because that's just the way it's always been with the Irish, the Japanese, the Chinese, and as a matter of fact, for all of y'all who are against the ban, we had to put a ban on Chinese immigrants in like the 1800s and early 1900s because there were just too many coming in and taking Americans' jobs, even the Chinese and Japanese that were already over here at the time. So I mean, it's not like it's something new. The political left and the political people, they want to make it new because they know that it takes people's eyes off of, okay, our resources are getting away, our jobs are being taken away. And I'm all for immigration, but you have to do it legally. And if it takes 10 years to do so, then that's just what it's got to take. Because you want to make sure that the people who get here are the best quality. In Canada, for instance, many people say they want to go to Canada. You have to have a business. You have to contribute to their economy automatically. You cannot cross the northern border by just going for the wires, as it's shown in many of the movies and stuff. I don't know if that's how they actually cross. I'm just saying that's how it's portrayed, so I'm just using that picture, that mental picture. Sorry if that's a stereotype, but yeah, we have to have controlled immigration. That doesn't mean stop it completely. We got to put a temporary ban on it until we can secure our borders, and then once our borders are secure, we can open the flood gates back up for immigration, and we'll start letting in smaller groups of immigrants in, but they'll be vetted immigrants, and there'll be immigrants there so we can we know who can come in our country, and we know that they're going to actually help us, and we know that they want to fully be in here and be the best Americans they possibly can be and don't kill us. Third is the economy. The economy. Let me start off with just some basic economic stuff. because I took an economics class this year. And if there's one thing I've learned, there's no such thing as free college. What it means is for people who were Bernie Sanders supporters and Hillary Clinton supporters, if they want to have free college and universal health care like Obamacare was, guess where the money comes from so that we can pay it for? From the American taxpayer. That means taxes go up. Okay, it's like my dad puts it. Why would he pay for your college when he has to struggle about um getting the bills on in our house, or getting food on the table, or putting a little bit of money down with my scholarship so I can go to college and my sister can go to college? You know, he he says, and I agree with him. If you want to go to college, you get scholarships and you get high grades, and then you earn that privilege. College is not a right. It's not a right. And with the $15 an hour, here's the thing, and everybody knows this that has studied any level of economics. If you take your base wages and you go up with your base wages, everything else inflates. It's called inflation. See what I did there? Inflates, inflation. I'm sorry, it's not a laughing matter. But it just makes sure everything else goes up. And like they have done in Wendy's with with higher with hiring robotic machines to take people's orders and stuff. So that means that they can spend 30,000 on these machines, on like 5 of these machines each, and that's over 100 grand. But then 50, 20 to 30 years from now, they've only had to spend like that 100 grand for all that time. So they make their money back and more because those machines don't need sleep. If you if you pay someone at a consistent rate wage, then it doesn't hurt them as bad, you know. And then that willingness to survive, that big struggle that a lot of people are having now with the minimum wage being so low, that's actually that's actually designed into the economy, because as your minimum wage cannot sustain you, the what the economy was meant to do was for you to say, okay, I can't survive on this job anymore. I gotta stay in this job, and get a higher education, and then get a higher paying job, and then quit this job, so that the person below me in age, a younger person, can take my job and continue the cycle. And people getting higher educations and then being able to support themselves. What's happened is people at the bottom level have said, no, I don't want to go to a higher level of education. I want to stay on my basic job and have the government fill in the gaps. You see, when we go on food stamps and stuff, now I'm not knocking food stamps because some people really do need them. But when we get to the point where we depend on food, there's been many economists in the 19th century that said if the government controls our food supply, which it does for many people because many people are on food stamps and not actually buying their own food, like when President Obama took office in 2009, it was 2.5 million, I think. Now it's up to like 45, and then by the time he leaves, it'll be over 100 million people on food stamps. What that means, if the government wanted to, now I'm not saying they will, but if the government really wanted to, they could cut off millions of people's source of food. That would cause a riot. That would cause the police to include martial law, and just every bit of our freedom would be automatically taken away in like minutes, because people would riot. They would loot grocery stores because, and I'm not knocking people for doing this if there's ever a shortage of food, because it's basic human instincts to feed yourself, feed your wife, feed your kids. That's just human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is that people rely on that as their main source of food. You know. Sorry about that. I covered it up on accident. Um, and so Trump will get rid of NAFTA and all these other trade deals. And I hope that he diminishes the food stamp program, never gets rid of it, because there's going to be people that need it throughout the course of this country. But but people need to learn that when you've been on it for a while, there's only so long you can be on it before you're kicked off of it, because it's about giving you a foot to stand on while you're trying to find work, and then once you found work, you can get off of it and you can start contributing. And that way, if something bad happens, you can have a leg to stand on and make the country strong still. Fourth is the unemployment rate. Our unemployment rate right now is under 5%, or at 5%. Now, what that means is that there's only 5% of the country, quote unquote, that's actually unemployed and looking for a job. Air quotes around looking for a job. Because once you stop looking for a job, once you want to be on food stamps and just sit around, or not look for a job, then you're not unemployed anymore. It doesn't matter if you don't have a job. Once you stop looking, they can make that number go down. And Trump's pointed this out, and they keep denying it. Fourth is GOP growth. That Obama's the only president where it's actually been under 3%. And I think Trump made a comment where in China, if it goes below 7%, that they have a riot, which I'm pretty sure is true, because the Chinese, they may be communists, but they really are hard workers. So if their products don't meet their standards, there's going to be some fussing. And so with such a little productivity, with these trade deals killing our production and making the world better instead of America better, it's just killing us. We can't have enough money to pay off our debt, which means we gotta spend more, which means we have more debt, which means eventually this big bubble that we're creating, just like the stock market exchange, just like tulip mania, like they had in the 1600s. Read it up. But those big bubbles is going to eventually collapse, and our government will not survive. Hillary Clinton says she wants to continue with her husband's policies of NAFTA, which, if you don't already know, Bill Clinton is the one who signed NAFTA into agreement. So, meh. Okay. I think this is fourth, either fourth or fifth, is the whole idea with NATO. NATO and the UN are great ideas, but what they were supposed to do was, after if the world saw fit that this country would donate, like, let's say $20,000, this country would donate $20,000, so forth and so on, and then they'd have this massive fund to fight whatever threat the world faced. Now, they just say, okay, America, you pay it, and America pays it, and they barely fraud anything. It's like with South Korea. I think it's great that South Korea is able to thrive and have great technology, but they're getting it off the back of America. South Korea has one of the most advanced um, militaries in the war in in the world. They have enough material to make 7,000 nuclear bombs, and the only thing that's stopping them is their president. She won't sign a bill to create one, and all they need to do is create one because um Kim Jong Un, he's in the process of creating one, and unlike us civilized countries, he will not be lenient with it. He'll immediately drop it on South Korea as soon as he's done. He won't even announce that he's made one. He'll just say drop it, and then it'll all be over. With North Korea, they have like 3 times the amount of military that South Korea does, but they have World War One technology, and then their airplanes are USSR or the Soviet Union airplanes that are barely functioning. So if if South Korea is really worried about North Korea, what they could do is they could either build up 1 or 2 nuclear weapons and drop it on North Korea, or they can invade it. And, even though North Korea has 10 times the amount of manpower, their weapons don't work hardly, and their people are severely suppressed. So all you need to do is plant cells of resistance, and the whole thing would come tumbling down. I mean, and that's what I don't get. They'd rather America spend money right now protecting them when they've got one of the most advanced militaries in the world, and they could easily take out North Korea, but instead they want to be peaceful and just sit there at a stalemate, while North Korea is continuously trying to create a nuclear weapon and failing, but eventually it won't fail. Eventually it'll succeed. And all we're doing is saying, bad North Korea, bad, bad. And the Kim Jong-un, I have to give him credit. He does not give up. That's dangerous though. Because he don't care what we think. In order for us to defeat him, we got to get our hands dirty. But I do have to give him credit on the fact that he don't want to give up, and he won't give up until either his country is dead or he's achieved his goal of destroying South Korea and moving his people in and making it one whole Korea. That's been ever since his grandpa was in power. That's been their goal, you know. But and so you have all these countries that are, and like in Libya and in the Middle East, there's oil, and the people that are selling the oil to British and the United States and all are also selling the oil to ISIS, and they're getting rich. What the UN and NATO needs to say is, hold on, you can't sell oil to ISIS. Distributors, if you sell oil to ISIS, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna we're gonna brand you as terrorist, and we're going to put you in jail, or we're gonna execute you. And I'm a Christian, and I say I don't want to execute people, but it's getting to the point with ISIS where you have to show them a little bit of fear too. It's getting to the point. Don't show fear against Muslims, but specifically show fear against ISIS itself, for the people who are selling the oil to ISIS, and letting everyone know, if you support ISIS directly or indirectly, you are going to get messed up, die, or in prison. So, and of course you get all this corruption with Hillary Clinton and stuff. And I don't want to get in that to that because I've done some stuff that's not right. So part of me feels like I shouldn't say anything. But there's a point when Benghazi and we know that was given a stand down order by the president and her, and she was sleeping while all that was happening, and she willfully knew that you know ISIS were going to take those weapons and use them, and if it wasn't for those like 10 men in 13 hours that the 13-hour book and movie is based on, that there would be a lot more deaths in Benghazi. And with the email server and stuff, it's a server. What that means is that she can not only can she have the private emails on it, but that means they're easily hackable. And Guccifer, which is a hacker that we cut a deal with, said, "Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton was the easiest out of everybody's that I've hacked," and it's been proven that her email has been hacked by Russians and everybody, and she's been giving money to Afghans and all these people who belittle women, who sell women as sex slaves, who don't allow women to go to school or vote or drive, and kill homosexuals and gays and lesbians and transgender people. They don't even allow transgender over there. That's like the fault to transgender over there is just it's never crossed their mind. Okay? So I just want people to know that I respect Hillary Clinton as a person, but I do not agree with her choices. And I think she at least needs to say, look, I'll take a plea deal with this email stuff. I'll pay a fine to the American people, or I'll do something to show that I'm sorry, instead of just saying, well, this isn't going to affect me, because it's about time that it does affect you in some way, Hillary, whether a slap on the wrist or something, because our founding fathers warned against this. We cannot have people taking money from outside sources and getting away from it. And I mean getting away with it because um because they didn't want the elite. That's why Trump is such a force against the bureaucrats in Washington, because they know once he gets in there, not only is it going to be incredibly hard to work with him, but a lot of them, there might be dirt on them. A lot of them might go to prison, or a lot of them might be forced to cough up on some stuff, or or a lot of stuff will be found out about Obama, maybe. And I'm not knocking Mr. Obama, but it's been proven about Fast and Furious, which was a gun transferring scheme which Obama authorized, where to get a little bit extra money. Automatic weapons were sent from the U.S. military to our allies in Mexico. And then from Mexico, they were sold to drug dealers. And the U.S. knew about this and did nothing. In fact, one of the weapons were traced back to El Chapo. So, so I'm just saying this is not conspiracy. This is fact. And so this is a handicapped American's point of view on our current political system and voting system. And I support Donald Trump for president. Let's make America great again. And now let us pray. Dear Lord, I know, Jesus, that there's some people out there watching this video who don't believe in you, but they can all agree that we all love this country and we all want to make this country great again, whether we vote for Trump or Hillary. I pray whatever happens, that you will guide us, or in their case, they believe that their God will guide us. But whatever the case is, God, please guide us out of the dark and into the light. We love you, and please keep us all safe. In your name I pray. Amen. I hope y'all like that prayer, and I hope y'all found this informative. Please subscribe for a future video. I gotta do a future video up next after I upload this. But bye. Y'all have a great, great day. Hope y'all also like my video about Orlando, about the terrorism that took place. Sorry for the shaky camera angle. Bye.